Hi everyone, nice to see you here again. Hi. O, cześć dziewczyny. Widzę, że dziewczyny z Help dołączyły. This time we'll be speaking in English. We're waiting for Tracy. Oh, Tracy is with us. So, oh wow. Hi Tracy.
Hello. I don't know why I was trying to join on my laptop and it wasn't working. So,
Yeah, but we have it. Always I had problem with connection and yeah, and now it's perfect.
see, that means that everything we do is perfect today. So, you should also buy lottery tickets.
Yeah, absolutely. How are you doing, Tracy?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Not too bad. Could use, a day to sleep.
Yeah, I'm so happy you're here and so happy that we can speak about so important topic. And uh, and yeah, and I have one important question. How is your cock?
Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
So, I have 14 chickens, and it turns out
Oh.
0% of them are cocks because I only have girls and those are hens. So my cocks
Okay.
are fine because I don't have any.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's the real answer.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so we can start with our topic. So we will speak together about taboo thoughts, something that make the OCD really scary thing because it's connected with shame, with really huge fear, and we know that taboo thoughts are not just thoughts, are also images, urges, and bodily responses. So we can start.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm Tracy. I've been treating OCD for more than 20 years, and I've had OCD for over 40 years, way over 40 years, a long time. And I love talking about the more taboo thoughts and ways that things come up for people with OCD because my own experience with having taboo type OCD thoughts and feelings and all those things. And so I love to talk about it. A lot of people think, oh no, this is real because I had a body response, or this
Yeah,
is real. And I think that's the scariest part for people. It's like if I don't enjoy that, then why am I having groinal response or something happening in my genital areas? So yeah, so I talk a lot about things like that and why they happen and that you can have intrusive urges. Feels like you really are gonna
yeah,
do something, right? Like freak out.
yeah,
That one happens to
yeah.
me. Like
Right.
I'm gonna
When I was a few days ago, I had appearance on Polish television and I spoke about OCD. And the presenters told that, yeah, probably you check the doors, you check windows, clean your hands. And I and psychiatrist told them that this is not just about checking, about cleaning. This is also taboo thoughts, for example, harm OCD, POCD, when we have sexual thoughts about children and so on. And this is so important because it's much easier to go to therapies if we have just something like checking or cleaning hands, and it's absolutely different when we have taboo thoughts.
Yep, it really is. And I think most people, who are supposed to know how to treat these things, who might even think that they know how to treat them properly, often do not. I was not trained, as most of the therapists I know, even in the US, are not trained to properly understand what OCD is, or to even treat it properly. So it took a lot of extra time to find out. And even now, people, I get clients who will come in and say, I'm afraid you're going to call the police if I tell you what my thoughts are, or I'm afraid my child will be taken away, or I'm going to be locked away in a hospital. And I love to tell them, oh, no, please tell me more about what's going on. Because even myself, I've had suicidal OCD since I was 10 years old. I've had homicidal OCD since I was probably around 12 or 13. And I've had contamination OCD since I was 4, and weird counting and rituals and magical thinking and all those weird things. But you're right. When I would tell people, even therapists, I would say, I have OCD. I only knew about like cleaning and germs. And they always thought, oh, well, that's not an important part of your story. The problem is that you want to kill yourself and kill other people. So that's the real problem here. And then I got treated like I was actually, those things were true. And so I ended up being locked away in psychiatric hospitals for a long time because of that. So I love having a space for people to come and say, no, tell me about it. It's very different to have harm thoughts and images and even urges, to this is what you really want to do. And it can be very confusing. I know I used to sit in the hospital thinking I was failing because they said I was going to kill myself, but I didn't want to. So it was very confusing. They said, you want to kill yourself? I'm like, I don't think so, but you must be right. I have so many thoughts about it and images. Everything I looked at one point was like, to die. You will swallow a doorknob. You will bang your head on the floor. You will, and so people would ask, have you had any thoughts of harming yourself? Oh, yes, I think of it all day. Thanks for asking. And they take that to be a problem instead of saying, oh, it sounds like OCD. Let's treat it properly. How about that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I told my wife that probably I have OCD, she asked me, Lucas, are you dangerous? Or are you able to harm children or something like that? And this is so important to talk about it out loud, what really OCD is. And when we speak about taboo thoughts, what they really are. So we have suicidal thoughts, pedophile OCD, and what else? Harm OCD.
So many things. It could be false memory OCD, thinking that you did something you didn't do. I've had people think they murdered somebody and bury them and forgot about it. So, or it could even be false memory comes up. I see in sexual ways when people say maybe something I did sexually with somebody was without consent. And maybe I don't remember that. And they have to keep calling and asking and asking and asking, are you sure? Did I do that to you? But yeah, we can have, let's see, I've seen people who fear cannibalism. They're going to eat people. So many different things. It could be.
And this false memory, you try to remember what did you do at the past, and I was looking every single detail in my head. What was that? What was the smell or something like that? And I tried to figure it out. It's really happened or not?
Exactly. And what a lot of people don't know is that the more you try to figure it out, the more likely that you're going to create false memories. So I know people who are, have gotten divorced, even ended relationships, really just punished themselves for things that didn't even happen. but they tried to figure it out so long, and then we have very logical brains, and our brain does not like to not have answers. It doesn't do well when it doesn't have answers, so it'll make up answers even. And so that's sometimes how that can happen. Or real event OCD, whatever. Maybe sometimes I hear people were drinking alcohol and they say, oh no, what if I don't remember, but when I was out, did I do something or I didn't do something? And so you were really drinking and you were really out, but maybe nothing happened. But the more you try to figure it out, now you end up with false memory OCD, because you say, oh, maybe I drank so much that I forgot what happened for 1 hour. And in that 1 hour, I was murdering people or assaulting people or having sex with people. I don't remember.
Yeah, and I don't remember what I was eating for dinner yesterday, and it's much easier for OCD to create false scenarios in our heads.
And they're always bad, right? It's never like a delightful. It's never like, oh, well, you know what? You probably volunteered your time for a good cause, and then you had a donut and then you went to sleep. It never says that. It's always this very terrible thing. Did I say this to somebody? I don't remember if I said this to somebody. There's a lot of different ways that OCD comes in. And people also, this comes up a lot. It's in a very taboo way. There's a checking compulsion that a lot of people don't realize is a checking compulsion, which is sometimes people with sexual orientation OCD or pedophilic OCD will watch pornography that goes against what they really like, because they are checking to see, do I have a response? Do I like that if I watch this? And that's also a compulsion that a lot of people don't realize. I see a lot of that.
Yeah, and taboo thoughts are seems to be so real because it's connected also with not just with thoughts, with images and urges. So it seems to be so real, and we think that we are a terrible person. And that we really want to do these scary things.
That's right. And what people don't realize, like some people think taboo themes are worse than other themes, but the truth is there's only just one OCD.
Yeah.
When you get a diagnosis of OCD, it's not about your theme. It's just that you have OCD, and that's how it's showing up. That's why we even have themes, is we're like, it's showing up like this, like pedophilia, like harm, like, whatever it is. But people feel like it's a lot worse a lot of times because it could be something that's illegal. It could be something that's about your kids. But I will also say, I used to have intrusive thoughts and things about germs with my kids when I was raising them. So I did a lot of ridiculous things, trying to keep them safe. And then later on, more recently, I've been getting more harm thoughts toward at least one of my kids. And it's not any better or worse, whether I think she's dying of poop germs or she's dying because I'm going to push her down the stairs. I really don't want my child to die. So OCD is attacking me because I love my child, right? So, but
it hits our values. So
yeah, it hits our values. And so for me, I like to use a lot of humor because OCD is never funny, never comes to us like, haha, that's funny. My daughter dying at the bottom of my stairs. Oh, that's hilarious. But I like to make it funny because if you don't make it funny, it feels too serious. So lately it's been, you're going to push your daughter down the stairs. So I've been saying things like, no, I'm going to kick her down the stairs because pushing isn't hard enough. Things like that. And then I let her walk in the stairs in front of me, and that's it. And then I walk down the stairs. I know I'm not going to push her, but I have the urge, like it feels like my hands are about to, and I'm like, okay, but I'm not a puppet. Like I'm a person and I control my body with my values.
Yeah, this is just feeling, but it seems to be so real that I know I don't want to do this, but I feel I can do this, and this is really scary.
Yeah.
And
And
yeah,
it is possible. I mean, it's not hard to push people down the stairs. It would take me 1
yeah.
second, but obviously
Oh,
I don't want to.
my mom is here, so pozdrawiam moją mamę. So
Hello, mama.
yeah, yeah, and this is really scary because we feel this urge to and we feel that we can or we will make this
Yeah,
this
it's true.
so
But I've never seen it happen. In all the
yeah,
years I've treated people, all of my years, when I was a child, I used to hide in my room. And if my dad was in the living room watching TV, because I would hide instead of going to the kitchen if I'm hungry or I want to drink, because I would have to walk by him and I would think I was going to kill him. I had this intrusive thought, you're going to go, you're going to throw him on the ground, you're going to kick his head
yeah,
until it explodes. That was what I kept seeing it and thinking it, and I felt like it would happen. And as a kid, I would just, I would just not eat and not go to the kitchen if he was anywhere around there because I was trying to not kill my dad. Now, or later on as an adult, it's like, yeah, great. Yeah, I can't wait to kill my dad. Then I don't have to buy him a birthday present. That's amazing. I love that. I already know I'm not going to kill him. Could I kill him? Sure. It's not hard to kill people. Oh, he's dead, but could I have killed him before he died? Yes, I could have killed him before. It's not hard to kill people. It's not hard to molest people. It's not hard to abuse your children. It's not hard to kill yourself. It's
yeah,
not that we're saying it's impossible. We're just saying that's not what you want to do. And OCD
yeah,
is telling you
sure,
constantly. And that's the problem. Like I get the intrusive urge every time I fly. I think I'm going to freak out and become arrested and then not
yeah,
be able to fly. And so when I fly by myself, it's like medium. When I fly with my child, oh, it's so bad because then I think, and then she's going to watch this happen to me, and then she will be alone, and I will be in prison. And, just because it's just the added thing with my child, and then I'm like, what if this happens? What if I grab the private parts of the whoever's sitting next to me or
yeah,
walking by me? I get that urge all the time. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I will. Maybe I will spank them as well. And I just let them walk by, and surprise, I haven't freaked out or grabbed anybody's butt, luckily, because I would probably get arrested. But I'm willing to accept that it's possible. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Just like suicide. Oh, my suicidal OCD goes in and out. And a lot of people have issues because they're like, but I have depression too. So it's very confusing to know if I'm depressed and suicidal or OCD suicidal.
mhm,
And I have depression too. And so when I get intrusive thoughts about suicide, it says the same questions to me. Oh, is this depression? You really want to kill yourself? And I'm like, well, that's not difficult. Like, is that what I want to do in this moment? I don't know. Okay, well, that's doubt. That sounds a whole lot like you don't know. Doubt, is OCD. If I was crying my eyes out, I was like, oh my God, Luchik, I just don't want to be here anymore. And I'm going to
yeah,
stab myself right now. That seems a little bit more obvious. Obviously, that's a little bit different, right? So,
right,
just
yeah,
OCD.
yeah. Oh, we have one question. Do you think depression and OCD go hand in hand? I think my OCD makes me depressed. Yeah, I think OCD, when it's not properly treated, can put us in really hard depression because it's so frustrating when we're stuck in our head and just trying to figure it out something or find a solution when there is no solution and no answer that is enough to our OCD. So yeah, depression and then suicidal thoughts are, I think, something absolutely normal when we do nothing with our disorder.
Yeah, a lot of times you feel like you're a bad person because you think these are your thoughts. And I did a talk actually about this not too long ago at the IOCDF, but talking about how depression and OCD actually, they feed each other, but also when one gets better, the other tends to get a little bit better too. So we very often as therapists will treat depression and OCD at the same time. And that works. I always have depression and OCD every single day, some amount of it going on. And I know, like, if depression feels worse, OCD gets worse. If OCD is worse, depression gets worse. If OCD calms down, depression calms down. It's just they feed each other because it feels depressing anyway, right? If you don't know that all these things aren't real that are happening to you.
Yeah, and OCD likes to connect with other disorders. In my case, that was eating disorder, depression, and yeah, this is really, really hard mix.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. We have one more question. Do you think urges are possible in every taboo OCD type? I think,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing that's impossible across OCD subtypes. You can get urges for absolutely anything. You can get urges and it's about your child or your sister or your parents or whoever, whatever the urge is. I very frequently, because I think very old people are kind of fragile. And so when I get really close, sometimes I get the urge to punch them or kick them. Usually it's punch them in the face. And it feels like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to punch this person, this poor old person trying to drink coffee. And then I just walk by them anyway. And yeah, so far I haven't punched anyone. So that's hopeful. Yeah, urges are possible in every subtype, groinal responses. You can get erections about things that it's so many things, urges of every single kind. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it was
when I told my friend about my OCD and I tried to explain him what really OCD is, he told me he was in shop and had the feeling that he wanted really to punch this woman directly in the face. So, but I explained this to him that every single each people have something like intrusive thoughts or automatic thoughts, but they react differently for these thoughts, or even better, they don't react for these thoughts.
That's right. There's a certain amount of intrusive thoughts that are very normal. I think people thinking about if you're sitting in your car in traffic and you're thinking about blowing up all the people in front of you, I think that's normal. I have that thought when I'm in Los Angeles driving sometimes. I think, well, if I blow up every car in front of me, and then I think, well, that seems extreme.
Yeah.
I don't have a missile launcher on my car, unfortunately. So, but
yeah, it can be also scary for people who sit with us in the car. If you will tell them, I was just go out the bridge to the directly in the water, and this is something unreal for them, or something that can be so scary for other people who don't know what really OCD is.
Absolutely. No, I was telling somebody the other day, I have a lot of OCD all the time going on in my head. It's just very well controlled. And I don't compulse almost very little. And when I was driving to pick up my daughter from work, and the whole way was just like bloody murder scenes, me driving my car off of something into the freezing water, the whole time. But I just put on some good music and I was singing my songs and I had all the images and I had all the things.
Yeah,
And I'm like, yeah, this is what having OCD is like. And even with sexual taboo types, like the person said,
yeah,
what sexual taboo urges? Yeah, you can have an urge to do something to your kid, and that just means it's the opposite of what you want to do. That's why it bothers you.
yeah,
Um, anything sexual. People, I've treated people who say I'm afraid if I'm going to be like at work and maybe I'll be near a coworker and I will sexually assault them. Um, all very normal urges. Yeah.
yeah. And this is we have to say that checking doors or stove, it's the same OCD. It's not really important for our OCD of if is it sexual thoughts or if it's something like relationship OCD or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's harder because they are taboo.
Yeah. Yeah. And like a lot of times it's everybody would, if somebody says, oh, I washed my hands 100 times today, somebody would say that's weird. But if you say, I was thinking about, did I accidentally molest my child while
Yeah,
changing their diaper? Somebody might say a different thing to you
yeah.
if they don't.
Call the police or
Call
something.
the police. This person is doing illegal things. So that's, I think, why sometimes it feels worse. But like for me, my contamination OCD feels worse to me than my suicidal and homicidal OCD, because I know there's a little bit of chance that it's true. Because my worst is invisible poop germs. So I can't see them, but I'm always assuming that everything has poop germs on it. So that's worse to me than when it's like, Tracy, you're going to stab yourself with a knife. Then I can grab a knife. That's fine. I can be like, I'm gonna stab myself. Yes, I am. I'm gonna stab whoever, my kids.
Exposure time right now.
Right? Like that's fine.
Ah,
But it's like, did your phone fall and get poop germs on it? And I'm like, oh, I just have to sit with the possibility it fell in a bathroom. Bathrooms are where people poop. Maybe there are invisible poop germs on my phone. So for me, that feels worse because it's possible.
yeah,
Whereas I know very well I'm not going to do all those other things, just OCD makes it seem like I'm going to do.
yeah, yeah, sure. And we have one question. Any tips for driving with OCD? Trying to get my license and it is hard.
Oh, yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
mean, and I suppose this could be a taboo theme as well. If you think about hit and run OCD, did I run somebody over? Or will I run somebody over? Maybe is the answer to that. Somebody may run people over at some point. Somebody has to run over people, right? At some point, somebody hits people. For a number of reasons. I always think I'm going to run people over at night when they're wearing all black clothes and they're crossing the street at night. And I'm like, that's your fault if I run you over. I just want to let you know that you should have been wearing something more
yeah,
obvious at night. But I think it'd be scary to get your license either because you think I'm dangerous, I'm going to kill myself in my car, I'm going to hurt other people. But, if you're not doing it without a car, why would you do it with a car? That's what I say, right? Like if I wanted to
yeah,
kill my
right.
neighbor, I would just walk over there and just stab them with my large knife or whatever. Having a car doesn't, when I'm in the car, it's like, you're going to kill yourself. You're going to drive off this bridge. It's like, that's no different than saying there's poop
Yeah,
germs in your
exactly.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fine.
The car is something like knife or yeah,
Yeah, you could do all kinds of things with the car, but why would you? Just
yeah,
because OCD is bothering you? OCD always says the worst things. Oh, if you drive, maybe somebody's going to die in your car and maybe this is going to happen. And yeah. Nope. When that comes to my head, I'm usually like, oh, good. You know what? I'll drive off the bridge next time because today I don't really like the clothes I'm wearing. These are not good death
yeah,
clothes. So next time I drive, I'll wear a really nice nice outfit, some nice clothes, so that when I drive over the bridge, they find me and I look good. Like maybe I'll do my hair first. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think now I want to talk about the biggest mind fuck of OCD. So bodily responses. This is
Yep.
something. This is something that makes these feelings, these thoughts, really so real, and this really can impact people and let them think that they are really terrible. Because if I have genital response when I'm lying near to my kid or something, that is really hard to cope with.
Yes, it really is. And a lot of people unfortunately take it as proof. This is proof that I
Yeah,
like this intrusive content because my genitals had a reaction, or because sometimes even somebody will be having sex or doing something, masturbating, whatever they're doing, and then an intrusive image or thought or something comes in and they think, oh, look, I'm sexually attracted to that because when I was having sex, I got these
yeah,
images or urges. They all go together, and people get very confused. But there's something called ANC, or arousal non-concordance, that explains why this happens. Which arousal non-concordance goes two ways. So the first way is the way that it does not have to do with OCD. Sometimes you want to do something sexual with somebody, but your body is not responding how you want it to. Maybe you want to have sex with your partner or do something, but maybe your genitals are not cooperating,
mm,
or your body is not cooperating. That's arousal non-concordance. You like this, but it's not working. And then the opposite way that arousal non-concordance works is how it shows up in OCD, which is, I don't like this thing at all, but my body's reacting like I do like it. And so that's where it gets confusing, but it's
yeah,
actually the exact same thing. And the more you pay attention to it, the more it happens. The more you try to figure it out, the more it happens. It's like when you tell somebody, don't pay attention. Don't look at my pink dinosaur. There's a pink dinosaur. Don't look at it, okay? Whatever you do, don't look at the pink dinosaur. That's all you can think about. So if you're like, oh, my genitals, or this is happening when I saw this kid ride by on their bike, or when I put my kid to bed, or
yeah,
when I saw a murder, or I was watching true crime and then I got this response, or whatever it is. And
yeah.
it's around.
And this could happen in every single situation. For example, when someone at work tells you compliment and you have a genital response, then you have mindfuck. Why?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
And
if we more think about it, the more the more powerful these thoughts become.
yeah, that's right. It just gets stronger and stronger the more you think about it. Anytime, what I like to think about is when you're having intrusive body responses, is never try to figure it out. I always welcome anything that happens with OCD. The problem is when you're afraid of what OCD is saying or doing to you and you take it seriously, that's when you have the biggest problems. When you realize OCD just sucks and it's a jerk and it's going to always bother you about something, then you stop giving it your power when you're not so
Yeah,
afraid, right? So like when whatever, constantly, like I've had this for a couple of months. I run for the last few years, I run taboo support groups at No CD. And I keep having this intrusive thought that I'm going to be running a support group. I'm going to stab myself through my neck right during my support group so that I will kill myself, but also cause all these other people who are watching to have big traumas. And then they will
yeah,
all lose hope. that OCD sucks. So this is my complicated, and it happens every week. I run these 2 groups. And so that's one of the reasons why I have this giant knife here. I got a knife. I measured it. See if I stick it from one side to the other, it comes out just like in my image. I couldn't have a short knife. I needed a nice big knife. And when I stop thinking about it, I'll probably put the knife away. Maybe not. Maybe I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
I think it's that we always have to accept that it's not, we don't make up intrusive thoughts. They come to us. We are not the ones who do it. We don't make it up. That's why it bothers us, right? Have you ever met a child molester who's like, oh no, I got a groinal response. You know, I'm having an erection around children. No, that's the whole point of it. That's why they're doing it. They love that. Like, people with OCD are like, oh no, what does it mean? What if I am? You know, you can see how obviously different it is, but when you're experiencing the OCD, it feels real. That's the problem. We can look at you and go like, you're not going to do that. That's crazy. Like, that's so stupid, you know, but you have those real feelings. That's why it bothers you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, Tracy, how can we cope with that thoughts, and what can we do to a bit help people who are struggling with this alone? And I think the really important point is to normalize it and to speak about it out loud when we are here on live stream, or also in the public. So it's really important let people to understand that it's one OCD and can hit a different part of our lives.
That's right. No, absolutely. And I think everybody, you know, has a different level of how they want to get involved in things. For me, doing a lot of advocacy on Instagram has been helpful because I like to let people know this is normal, this is normal, this is normal. Let's laugh, talk about it. But you know, making sure you get evidence-based treatment if you have access to treatment. Not everything that says evidence-based on it is evidence-based, so don't be fooled. There's no easy way out of OCD treatment. The gold standard is exposure response prevention treatment.
Absolutely.
Sometimes people can take medications that can be helpful and do a combination, but I can tell you that research shows that medication by itself will not solve this for you at all. By itself, you will have to change your behavior. We behave our way out of OCD. Right. And there's only one thing you can do to help control how intense your symptoms are, and that's your compulsions. You have to figure out what that's compulsive, and you have to stop because that's what makes OCD so loud. And there's a ton of different ways, but none of them are easy at first when you're still believing, right?
Right. And for me, it's also important to support each other. When I went into this community almost 2 years ago, I was so amazed that so many wonderful people can really support me, and I decided to do the same and to share my experience with others, because it's really important to let people know they're not alone.
That's right, because I think when you think you're the only one with those thoughts, or when OCD is telling you, well, you don't have OCD, you actually are this person, which we call meta OCD. I mean, because it's common to say this is an OCD, this is me. But I know that, like, when I run my support groups, there could be 70 people in there and they all have taboo themes, and seeing other people who have taboo themes is helpful. Oh, you also thought of that? Oh, okay. Like, you got better. Seeing people who are struggling, seeing people who have gotten better, I think gives a lot of hope. Like, oh, Like, you know, just that's why I like to share. Like, I walk around with suicidal and homicidal OCD and contamination OCD and responsibility OCD and sometimes other random things. You
Yeah.
know, and that it's okay that you can have a normal life. You don't have to say now my life is over and terrible. No, it's not actually. You can live a good life with OCD on your shoulder. You know, over here, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be your life. It has to be part of it though.
Yeah, it's important to realize that we are not alone in this, and we can support each other. And this is OCD, not we. We are not our thoughts.
That's right.
So
Yeah, we don't create them. We don't even create them. That's the fun
yeah,
part about it. If we did, you know, and if it didn't feel real, I think that's the biggest thing is people say, why does it feel real? And it feels real because every time you get triggered with some sort of intrusive, you know, fear,
yeah,
you get a chemical reaction that makes you try to solve it or fix it, and it's the same reaction like when there's a real emergency. And so our brain doesn't know the difference, so we're going to feel uncomfortable and learn that you can feel uncomfortable but also you can live with intrusions happening to you and you don't need to do anything about them. So whatever it is, walking through your life and understanding that it's like you just have this neighbor, this person next to you that's very annoying, constantly telling you stupid things, and you have to learn how to ignore them. Because if I was saying terrible things to you, if I was OCD, but there was no feeling like it was real, we wouldn't even care about it. Think about it. It's like, hey, you know what, Lucia, you're gonna push your kid down the stairs, but there was no feeling. You would just be like, that's a weird thought. You would move on. But it's like, oh, now I have an urge to do it. Oh, no, now it's real. Oh, and it feels scary. Okay,
mhm,
now it's real. And it's like, no, it just feels real. You got to learn how to live with it. Feels real, but it's not.
yeah. And when we start with exposure and response prevention, and we realize that we can just let these feelings be there without engaging with them, then we realize that we can really go one step forward and forward, and uh, let this OCD be just like our partner in life without engaging with it.
That's right. Like maybe you would like to get a divorce from this partner, but unfortunately, you have a permanent marriage to this partner that you can never leave. It's not the best partner. It's not the partner you wish that you could pick, but it's your partner. So you have to learn how to live with it. And as soon as you stop believing all of this crazy things it tells you, um, even though it feels real, I think you get your life back and you learn how to
Yeah,
live with weird thoughts, whatever they are. You know, I was doing some crafts with my daughter one day. We were just doing this little project, and I had sharp scissors, and I was like, "You're gonna shove these in her throat." And I was like, maybe in 10 minutes though, because I need her help with this project right now.
yeah,
And we're just doing the project, and I have to have the thoughts, and I have to feel uncomfortable. So maybe it's not like an A plus best best life ever 100% all the time wonderful, but like you can get like a 98% because
yeah.
OCD sucks, right? 2% instead of 100% so that it feels awful all the time.
Yeah. So maybe, guys, we have if you have some question for us, we can answer it now. We have Tracy here. So yeah, can OCD present as hearing voices like any voice? I once heard the voice of God say, "I'm someone else."
Yes, actually, a lot of people don't talk about it, but we can get intrusive voices, intrusive smells. I've had that one recently. Intrusive sounds, um, all of those things. Absolutely. And OCD is not in a particular voice, it's just a chemical reaction. So it can come in any voice. Um, so if, you know, that's what it is. If you think you heard the voice of God telling you you're someone else, that I don't know how, I would say I don't know how you know for sure it was the voice of God. How do you know for sure? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and false attraction, I see that. The term false attraction. Yes, false attraction is very much like arousal non-concordance. My body gets excited when my brain is going, ew, yuck, I don't want that. That's
Yeah.
false. Or having an erection for something that you don't like.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know what I always say if I ever get a groinal response, or I say, good thing all my bits are working. Wouldn't it be worse if they weren't working? You know, you have a body that works.
Yeah. Yeah, our bodies are so created, they're so complicated, and yeah, and I think we don't understand many of many things that happened in our bodies. So with OCD, it's even harder to understand these responses.
Yes, it is. It just tries to confuse you, but everything is just as it is. Um, you OCD doesn't change you as a person. It doesn't change
Yeah,
your value. It doesn't make you do things. It can't. That's called thought action fusion, actually, where you think that your thoughts or urges are going to equal action. You know, like if I carry that knife too close to my throat, I will cut it. That's not true. I just showed you. But my thought action fusion, the OCD says if you
yeah,
pick up the knife, it's going to go through your neck. And it's like, nah, not really, because I don't want it to do that because it sounds messy.
yeah,
I don't like pain. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Oh, okay. So I think we have no more questions. So, Tracy, I'm really, really happy that we could meet together now. I hope that we can meet in real life someday.
I know.
Maybe
Hi.
maybe in Chicago. I don't know.
I'll be there.
So I hope me too. So
I hope to
it
see.
yeah, it will be really nice to hug you there and to see these all amazing people because I will always say that this community is really amazing
It
and
really
really
is.
helpful, supportive, and I'm happy I'm here.
Yes, me too. I'm happy you're here too. Yeah, and I hope to see you in Chicago at the conference, unless one of us dies before then or goes to prison or
Yeah,
it never
maybe,
happened.
maybe. We don't
Maybe if
know.
that I don't know, but maybe if that happens, my ghost will come and I will haunt you at the conference.
Yeah, great. So, thank you, Tracy, one more time. I hope we can see next time in Chicago or somewhere on internet, on social
Absolutely.
media. I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere.
No, me either. Me either. So, absolutely. It was nice to be here, and I'm glad that people got to join us to hear. So,
So, bye
have
bye.
a nice rest of your day.
Yeah, I go to sleep right now.